Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It is time for the DX Engineering Manufacturer Showcase. And this is the show where we actually talk to or about the various 160 plus manufacturers that we have here at DX Engineering that we sell. And today we have a very special guest. It's Rod KRR, who is our senior technical specialist with DX Engineering. Hello, Rod.
Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
Good, good. And Rod, you're very familiar with the Phonema line, and so we're going to talk about Phonema, which is a Spanish audio company, very high quality audio equipment, and we are the North American exclusive supplier. Rod, what has your experience been like with Phonema?
Oh, wow. Really great sounding speakers. I met the owner of Fadima. Amadeo is a really passionate individual who has blended his love of DXing with his woodworking skills, and he's put that together to make these awesome wood speakers for amateur radio. Um, and the Fadima speaker line is handcrafted. It focuses on bringing out the clarity in speech on single sideband while retaining good qualities for CW and for broadcast audio. And one of the misnomers about, or actually one of the things that people don't really understand from years ago, a lot was made about amateur radio speakers only had a very narrow bandwidth because that's all you need, just a tiny little narrow bandwidth for voice communication. But what they didn't realize at the time is that for more intelligibility, actually a broader bandwidth in the speaker can help you hear the voice better. So these speakers have a broader bandwidth. You can hear bass and broadcast quality uh, bass, and you can hear the upper frequencies better on the Phonema speakers. They sound really nice.
And so it doesn't, Rod, uh, tell me if I got something wrong here. Even if you have an older radio, maybe it's 20 years old or 30 years old, the speaker really can make a big difference.
It's amazing what you can do with a modern speaker with uh, the new drivers that are available with the larger magnets that Phonema uses. They use those in their speakers. They use those in their Gamma Fits driver replacement uh, kits, and also in their speaker modification kits. The neodymium drivers, they just reproduce the sound better than the old uh, tiny magnets, paper cones of the old speakers. Old speakers in radios facing upwards, or even the external speakers in a metal box. It was a tiny little magnet, a tiny little cone, and they just didn't sound that good. And they progressively sound worse over the years, and you don't realize it. But but you get one of the Phonema speakers and connect it to your old radio, your not so old radio, or even your brand new radio, and you'll just be amazed at the sound that you can have on your transceiver or even shortwave receiver.
I need to try that. I think I need to purchase one of these Phonema speakers and try that. I've been using this Palstar speaker for years, and I really like the way it sounds, but I don't have anything else to compare it to. I've got we have good Bose headsets here, but yeah, let's get right into it, Rod. Let me share my screen, and you can talk us through some of the products that Phonema has, and let me know when you see the screen as it's coming up here. And it's Phonema, Phonema. So if you use that in the search box on DX Engineering, it'll take you right to the product line. Do you see it, Rod?
Right. I see the Phonema Miranda S and the Miranda, and you can see that the Miranda has nice reviews. It's a very nice sounding speaker, uh, fashioned specifically for the medium sized rigs of yesterday and today. Just the other day when I was adding in the Miranda S, which is the new model coming out. In just we'll have stock of that new model in a month. There's just a couple of the Miranda left. You could see there that the size of this speaker was crafted to match um, some of the medium-sized radios, like the IC7300. I just added the FTDX10 on the new one, and many other transceivers that had that 3.5 to 4.25 front panel height. And then depending upon the tilt that you have on your transceiver with its own legs or with some other method of propping it up so it's easier to see and operate, the bail on the bottom of the Phonema uh, or Miranda and Miranda S is able to be pulled out, and it will stay wherever you pull it out to. So that way you can have a completely adjustable uh, front panel height or pitch on the speaker that's to match your transceiver.
So it's 8 ohms, which is kind of an industry standard. The frequency response. Look at this, Rod. 80 to 18,000 hertz.
Yeah, that gets to part of what I was talking about in terms of fidelity. And of course, in hi-fi audio, all of the speakers are made out of wood. That's why these speakers are made out of wood. And RF shielding really isn't that much of an issue anymore. Hams aren't typically operating in RF laden shacks, and so the wooden speaker works fine, and it sounds natural. I mean, the sound that comes from these Phonema speakers, it sounds natural from the wood cabinet with Basotec and other foam interior linings, and a really high quality heavy duty magnet driver that it's recessed just the right amount to keep it out of harm's way, without a grill, without any metal covering that's going to vibrate and cause resonances or erroneous sounds.
So, Rod, you mentioned the new Miranda S.
Right.
And so you've just put this up on the website. And
Just
why don't you
yeah,
talk about this?
yeah. This is really almost exactly the same as the Miranda, and you see that the beginning price is exactly the same. This one has a slightly different size. It's got the nice Phonema engraving on the side. All of the Phonema speakers have the wire grab terminals on the back, um, wire clip or spring clips as they're called, and the S has just a few upgrades in the thickness of the material, the driver itself, the foam. So just some minor tweaks on the Miranda, which is now going to be available as the Miranda S. Those will be coming in to DX Engineering stock in just about a month.
And let's go over to the RIAs. What's the difference between the Mirandas and the RIAs?
The RIA 2 replaces the original RIA, and it's got a different design now. The original RIA had a completely different grill pattern on the front of it, and now the RIA 2 replaces that. There's a nice interior shot of the various different types of foam that Phonema uses to dampen the audio so that there's no internal resonances, and that no specific frequency is accentuated. And the combination of those internal foams in the case and the driver make for a superior sound. The RIA 2 and the RIA 3 are a taller, larger speaker to match the larger radios like the 7610 or the the 101s, and many other larger radios from the years past. You could connect this RIA 2 or the RIA 3 to, and make use of it on an old stalwart transceiver like a like a TS 930 or an IC 765. These RIA speakers would sound just fantastic.
So this is the RIA 3, Rod. Let's talk about what we're seeing here on the screen.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination of two different drivers. One that plays with the main and the sub of a two receiver radio, and then the switch allows you to switch your audio input over to yet a second radio. So if you have two really good transceivers, well, even if they're just two basic transceivers, the RIA 3 here can accommodate playing audio from two radios at the same time, or from two radios switched with that front panel push button switch.
That's really nice. I mean, this you talk about high quality stuff. I mean, it's beautiful. It's dark gray, so it will, and it's the size is to match ICOM Yaesu Kenwood L-Craft, and so really nice, good frequency response range, 8 ohms, and so again, here are more of the specifications. Can handle up to 10 watts, and for the sub it's 3 watts. So again, really good speaker. So if you just want to learn more about the Phonema line, right, you put in Phonema in the search box here at dxengineering.com, and all of the speakers are there. They're all there. It's and then they have these acoustic modification kits. Why don't you talk about those, Rod?
Sure. That was really where Phonema got their start, at least with DX Engineering. We started with their FITS acoustic modification kits, and people may not realize, but what that means is Phonema kits for making your ham radio speakers sound better. So he put Phonema kits together and called it FITS, because Phonema starts with PH, and it's an odd way of spelling FITS, but it's a great product. These various pieces of foam and filler are cut to specific dimensions, so that when you open up your existing ham radio speaker, you can take the front cover or the top cover off, not the front, but the top cover off, place the foam pieces in very specific order, in very specific positions, and then put the cover back on, and you'll hear quite a striking difference in the sound quality. It's dampening materials that help not only the high end and the clarity, but also the low end. And it works on even an old speaker, even if it's a tired old driver. The acoustic materials help those old drivers. If you have one that's really old, the Gamma Fits kits allow you to put a whole new driver into your old speaker. He's got several of those kits, and I did exactly that modification. For my old ICOM SP20 that I use, Tim, you may recall, there was a time when the SP20 was the best sounding amateur radio speaker on the market.
Right.
And if you can imagine that good of a sounding speaker, the ICOM SP20, which is now the ICOM IC or SP34, for the newer, larger radios, that was a very good sounding speaker. I took out that driver and put in the new Phonema driver and put in the foam materials, and that whole modification cost me less than $100. And now my old SP20 sounds incredible. I mean, it's just really a fun project, and it's not very expensive.
Yeah, no, that is very super. So we would encourage customers to go take a look on the website. And if they have any questions, they can always email us and get a response, or they can call us. Rod, we do have some folks in the chat room that I want to recognize. And Delta Lima 6 Radio Delta Echo is on from Bavaria. And our friend Jimmy Cessna, Kilo Bravo 8, November. He's mobile and somewhere. He was in the flea market at Hamvention. And Kilo Sierra 3, November, Tom. And John says hello to all my friends at DX Engineering. And from Iceland, it's Tango Fox 3, Oscar Mike. And from Massillon, we go from Iceland to Massillon, Kilo Golf 8 Radio Yankee. And Kilo Sierra 3, November says, really enjoyed seeing all the DX Engineering folks at Dayton this year. And what did you think of Hamvention, Rod? Wasn't that fun?
Oh, that was a great time. I mean, all of us that hadn't been there for 3 years, really missed it. And it was such a joy to go there and visit with old friends and see our, so many customers and so many people that really like the DX Engineering product line, and we talked with them about those things and many other topics as well. Everybody was upbeat and just generally happy to be there after such a long time.
Yeah, it really was great, Rod, and thank you so much for everything that you did at Hamvention to take care of all the questions. And we've got Yankee November 1, Zulu Oscar Juliet, stroke W4. Guys, can you guide us into any good HF antennas for apartments with metal balcony bars? The mobile antenna, Rod, a lot of times the Hustler, the ham sticks, because it's really challenging, right? And if you can get one radial for that band that is off of the shield, you got a shot, right?
That's right. I mean, it is a very difficult situation. Surprisingly, though, I've seen cases where people have attached very large HF antennas to their metal balcony, and like you said, with just a couple of resonant radials, they've had some pretty decent results. It's a tough situation when you try to use some other antenna inside of the metal balcony or protuberance on the apartment building. You have to try to get something that's in the clear at least a little bit.
Right. And Mark N4BCD says speaker and headphone quality are critical for long use in a contest, and front firing speakers eliminate the distortion of the top firing speakers' early reflection. That's a very good point. November Juliet 7 Lima is on from Puerto Rico. It's Kilo Papa 4 Juliet Radio Sierra. Dennis says he only buys at DX Engineering. Terry is on from Rudolph, Ohio. Kilo Echo 8 Charlie Victor Alpha. And Steve, Kilo Bravo 2 Victor Kilo Zulu, says those kits are very interesting. And from the United Kingdom, where they're doing a lot of celebrating over there, Mike 7 Charlie Zulu. And Dan is on as always, Whiskey Alpha 4 Mike Oscar Mike. I guess my Ford Drake MS4s would be considered vintage now. Well, yeah,
they sure are.
In the day, I still have an MS4 in the garage. And our friend Ira is listening from Anguilla. That's Victor Papa 2 Echo India Hotel. Well, Rod, thanks so much for coming on today. It's always great to have you come on and talk about one of the lines. I mean, it's hard to believe that over 160 lines of equipment that we carry now at DX, and you are an expert on a lot of them.
Yeah, I was going to hold you off there just a little bit and say certainly not all of them.
Almost all.
But quite a few. I know quite a bit about having been with DX Engineering for over 16 years. And it's been a real joy helping so many customers with so many different aspects of ham radio with equipment from DX Engineering.
And John here is asking, when will the new DX Engineering hex beam be available? And that's Rod's baby. He's working on that. And I got a report today, Rod. You're very close to finishing that.
Yeah, it's really close. We got to put some finishing touches and final tweaks, and then get it through the pre-production process. So I'm hoping for a couple 3 months somewhere before the snow flies.
Before the snow flies. And John says he can't wait. So that's going to be great, because I know there are, if you look at the catalog and you see all the features that you're improving on the hex beam, I mean, I've been reading the catalog. That's what I go to bed at night with, is the DX Engineering catalog.
You're not the only one.
That's it. But Rod, thanks so much for everything you do. And
Thank
thanks to all of you for watching today. And we'll be on tomorrow for the weekend special. Until then, 73 from DX Engineering.